everyone, and welcome to Fabric Tech Talk Fridays. I'm your host, Patrick LeBlanc, and today I have a really good friend of mine, someone I've known for a long time, joining us, Mr. Reza. Reza, before we get into this, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Patrick. I'm Reza Rad. I work at RADACAD. I'm a Power BI Microsoft Fabric consultant, been in this industry over 20 years, and really happy to be with you all here.
All right. So, Reza, we were chatting a little bit earlier about real time, and I've been doing some stuff with real time, and a lot of people think they need real time. A lot of people want real time, and in Microsoft Fabric, there's lots of real time capabilities. Won't you let's chat about that, you and I.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, real time, like being in BI industry, we've been working with a lot of technologies such as like data warehousing, Power BI, things like that for many years, but not really that much of a, let's say, use or words out about real time intelligence, what it is, how it is different than like direct query, things like that. So I want to explain about that a little bit. Let's see if I can bring up my slide. Uh, Let me know if you got my
Yep.
slides.
Yep.
Okay, right. So being in like coming from Power BI point of view, I'm mainly helping people with their Power BI solutions these days with Fabric and Power BI. A lot of people using BI or data for analytics of what has been done in the past, and they don't really have a good idea about what real time can do for them. So I put together this slide with the help of one of my friends in Microsoft team that talks about different scenarios that real time analytics or real-time intelligence can be helpful. There are different industries that this can be helpful in aviation, in health, in retail. I'll give you a few examples. Let's say, for example, in a health scenario. So let's say we are dealing with a hospital that has some outpatients, and this hospital needs to capture some information from these patients, like
Yeah.
what is their blood pressure, what is like their blood sugar level, things like that. There are devices that capture this, but we cannot wait for an ETL process overnight to pass all of these information into our data warehouse.
No, no, we can't. We can't batch that up and go, we'll get back to you with a diagnosis. We can't do that.
Yeah, like 24 hours later, we'll let you know what happened with your with your analytics. So something like this has a nature that you need to act immediately as
Yeah.
soon as the data becomes available. And that is one of the places that, for example, something like this is different than BI system
Yeah.
or in Power BI. A lot
Yep.
of people say that, well, in Power BI, we have this capability of direct query or even direct lake in Power BI. But that is talking about whenever you query the data, you'll see the up-to-date information. Whereas real time is talking about let's push that analytics, let's trigger it as soon as the data becomes available. And that's a big difference. Another example of this could be retail. Retail is an area that a lot of us consider it as an area that the data can be analyzed overnight,
Yep.
but it can be improved much better when we have real-time analytics or real-time intelligence in place. I'll give you an example. Let's say you walk into your favorite retail grocery store. In your suburb, in your town, and then you find out that some of the shelves, like the tomato sauce you are looking for, is not there. Right? It's empty. What would have happened if this business would have used a some sort of real-time
Oh,
intelligence
yeah.
technology?
Yeah, yeah. They
Yeah,
would know. They would know, right?
yeah,
They
that
would.
they would know.
Yeah.
As soon as something goes out, they would know, and they would have a process that would replace it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So all of these, and this happens in many industries. In some industries, it's much more sensitive. In some industries, it's not, like retail. It may
Yeah.
not be that much sensitive, but you'll get immediate value, right?
I was thinking, like, if I had a fleet of trucks, refrigerated trucks, right? and I was
Yeah.
transporting ice cream. I love ice cream. And so I was transporting ice cream, and I had these temperature things that was constantly telling me, hey, the temperature needs to be this, the temperature needs to be this, and that temperature starts dropping. I need to know that soon. I need to know that soon because I don't want all the ice cream to melt. So maybe something like that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a really good example of that. And any scenario that would require immediate action. Aviation is a really good
Oh
example of that.
yeah, aviation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all of these like flights changes, cancellation, updates, things like that, and you need to act immediately on a lot of these, especially on airports that has so many
Whew.
uh, people moving around.
Yep.
Like Atlanta Airport, I think is one of those.
Oh, it's one of those airports. It is, or Heathrow, right? Or Heathrow, or Schiphol, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's big airports. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, true. So although this is considered at the moment as one of the let's say enterprise customer um, kind of technologies, but it even helps with like I think medium scale businesses in any
Yes.
businesses that you would get value of processing your data real time instead of waiting for a overnight or
Yep.
let's say schedule based refresh of the data.
Yeah.
Now, considering that, what do we have in Microsoft Fabric? Now, this was a slide that was on a sorry. Considering that, what do we have in Microsoft Fabric that provides this? Microsoft Fabric being fully SaaSified experience, all-in-one technology suite of products that gives us everything we need from ingesting the data, building the data warehouse, visualizing the data, doing data science, all of that. There is also a workload for real-time intelligence. It used to be real-time analytics before, now it is called real-time intelligence. And that is the area that the technology works very well with this real-time requirement. It has different components that work for different users'
Yes.
need. For example, if we are talking about Power BI users or business users, there are pieces of this real-time intelligence that works with that, such as real-time dashboards. We have a component called Activator, which is a really no-code experience.
Really no code experience.
Yeah,
Really no code.
not even the expression.
Not even an expression.
That's a big, that's a big win. We don't want another language. So we have that. Also, on the other hand side, we have pieces of this technology that works with enterprise requirements like Azure Event Hub, the Event Grid, the stream analytics itself that works through database structures such as Eventhouse with the KQL language supported on top of it. Uh, Alongside this, with everything in Microsoft Fabric, we have Copilot enabled these days.
Yep.
So this is also really helpful. For example, if there are areas of this that you need help, for example, you don't know much about KQL language, which is just the language of real-time
Yeah.
queries, you can write SQL queries and it converts it to KQL. Or you can even just ask, I want to write something like this, and this will write it for you,
Yep.
right? So altogether, this builds what is called as real-time intelligence. Now, this is already in place. This technology is not like a preview technology. This is a technology that a lot of our customers are already using it at a scale of data processed every month and even every day
Wow.
is crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is something that like when I talk with my customers, the first question is that, well, how big data you are working with,
Yeah.
you're dealing with, and their amount of data is never close to this amount of
No.
data that you are.
No. It's just insane. This is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so we have the capability, we have the infrastructure to support it, and then what is this technology actually? So the technology includes a lot of components. These components provides the capability that we are looking for to build that real-time process. So as I said, it's different than having a Power BI report with direct query connection from the source, right?
Yep.
We'll need to have the data ingested as soon as a new data entry happens. So it's like an event trigger system, right? So you'll have these events coming from like all kind of sources. This might be an IoT device sending some of these information every time. Let's say in that scenario you mentioned, that refrigerator sends that temperature every second, or whatever time that detected a change, right? It might be also like a database system with CDC enabled in it,
Oh
right? In
yeah.
that case, you'll get all of those. So it doesn't matter where that data is coming from. We have a system that ingests that data and pass it through to a storage place. That ingestion is using an event stream. The storage place is like consider it like a data warehouse, but it's a different technology, a technology that supports lots of event-based data coming and like a stream of data coming. We don't use Lakehouse for this. We mainly use something called KQL database. A group of KQL database is something we call it Eventhouse, like a container for multiple KQL databases. One big difference between this and a Lakehouse could be the fact that Lakehouse is good for analyzing what has happened in the past based on scheduled
Yep.
data refresh, whereas a KQL database or an Eventhouse is good for analyzing the data as they happen,
Right.
as all of these events are coming and happening. Along with this, we have few other technologies. Digital Twin Builder is probably the most recent component across all of this. This helps us to build like a display schema of different components, like in that
Like
refrigerator
a
example
like
I
a
was talking about.
virtual representation. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like across like a grid, it might show that this is on, this is off, things like this,
Yep.
and how they act together. Now, alongside with this, we also have a very new component that is not mentioned in here, which is Fabric IQ.
The
That can
ontology.
even go,
The
yeah,
ontology.
Yeah.
ontology, really exciting stuff.
All right, it adds more information, right? It adds more information on top of all your items. Yeah.
Exactly. And this can connect with the rest of Microsoft Fabric. So after you captured the data, after you stored it in your Eventhouse, and of course you can query it with a language similar to SQL. It's not SQL, it's a different
It is
language.
not
It's
SQL.
SQL.
It is not.
You know, it couldn't be another technology if we didn't have another language for
Yeah.
it, right?
Mhm.
But the good thing is that KQL is not a complicated language.
No, it's not. It's not.
And it has some really good functions to query the data over time. Like I can use a function that gives me the data in the last hour or in the last 24 hours or things like that. Of course, we can do that in SQL too, but it is a little bit easier to query something like this in
Yeah.
KQL.
Yeah, you gotta do some work. You gotta do some SQL
Yeah.
to find that last hour. With this, it's pretty simple. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Correct.
Yep.
And Copilot can help.
Yes.
That's another thing,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So once you have that, then you can have Power BI reports on top of it. But one thing about Power BI reports is that if you use a Power BI dashboard has this element that as soon as the data changes, it will show you that.
Yeah.
So that is why we call it Power BI real-time dashboard, because it means that you don't need to wait for a refresh process or something like that. So we'll have that capability on top of it, which will show as soon as a change happens. Plus, that technology that I talked about, Data Activator, it's a no-code environment. It's a completely simple environment to use. You'll choose what you are monitoring. Like I'm monitoring this value. If this value goes above this threshold, below this, or for example, check it on different frequency. And as soon as it happens, you want to do an action, because that is what real-time intelligence is about. In that hospital scenario, in that refrigerator, car scenarios, truck scenarios, in the aviation scenarios, in all of these, we want to do an action at the end.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So if the blood pressure goes up, after we monitor it, we realize that is on a critical level, we need to do an action. We need to send somebody there. If that truck refrigerator
Goes
temperature goes down or goes up, ice creams are going to okay. We need to do an action, and
Yeah.
that is what this activator is capable of.
Yeah.
It can connect that to an action. This action could be anything in Microsoft Fabric environment. It could be running a pipeline, it could be running a notebook, running a data flow that does an action, or it could even trigger an action outside, such as a Power Platform uh,
Power automate,
automate,
power
Power
automate,
Automate
power
action.
automate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Power automate.
yeah. So altogether, these small little components build what we call as a real-time
Yeah.
intelligence solution. This is like a sample reference architecture. For everyone, it might be different, but it talks about the scenario that we get data from different sources. These are event trigger based sources that would send their data. We can capture that through event stream, pass it to that event house that I'm talking about, which is a combination of KQL databases. In that, you could go and build your medallion architecture if you want to. Like you could have different approaches for that. You could have use materialized views, or you could use different schemas, different KQL databases. On top of it, we'll have our real-time dashboards with Power BI elements up on top of it. You might want to do some past data analysis, and that is where you might use just normal Power BI reports with either a Direct Lake or DirectQuery. I would suggest Direct Lake if you are doing that. And then we also have that activator, which gives us the capability to monitor a value. If a change happens that requires an action, then we'll go and do an action. This action could be just an alert, just an email, just a Teams message, or it could be much more than that. It
Yeah.
could be an action, really.
Yeah.
Alongside with all of these, we also have something called Real-Time Hub, which is a place in Microsoft Fabric portal that we could go and see all of these real-time related components, like our event house, our event stream, the activator, all of these listed. And you can, of course, filter it by domain, by workspace, and all of those features that you would need. So that was few of the slides that I wanted to show you, and altogether this talks about a real-time
Yeah.
intelligence
So the one
solution.
thing we cannot finish this talk without saying this. So and a lot of people always they ask for real time. They want real time, right? It's a serious conversation that you should have because configuring and setting this up. I wish it was just point click shift, right? It's not trivial to get all these pieces and parts running. And so whenever someone reaches out to me and go, "Oh, I need real time," I go, "Let's have a conversation about this," because a lot of times they think they need real time and they really don't need real time, right? They can settle for the nightly batch process. And so while I do these capabilities are amazing, they're absolutely remarkable, and for the right scenario and the right use case, they work great. But sometimes we can over architect things a little bit. This is this I'm looking at this reference architecture. I'm like, this will work for a lot of things. And I could see some people going, I'm just gonna put my warehouse here, but depending on the volume of data and the velocity of the data, you may not need this, and you can do it for a much more simplified architecture. So anyway,
Correct.
yeah,
It's always depending on your solution, depending on your requirement. We cannot have one architecture that answers everyone's requirement. And exactly as you said, there are scenarios that this business for this requirement may not really need real-time intelligence. They might just need an overnight process of refreshing the data through data factory, through data pipelines,
yeah,
and data flow coming into a lakehouse or a warehouse and Power BI Direct Lake on top of it, right? That might work perfectly for some. For some, it might be different. It might require much faster process
yes.
and action of the data.
Yeah, like this reference architecture. This is a good one too. This is a good reference architecture. All right. Anything else, Reza? This is great. I learned a few little nuggets along the way that I'm going to use in my presentation that I'm delivering in a couple of weeks in Oslo. So thank you so much for taking the
Awesome. Thank
time.
you.
Yeah. All
Thank
right.
you. Really appreciate the time. And I hope everyone goes and learn about this technology. I'm pretty sure that you guys would have some more videos about different aspects
Oh,
of real time.
yes. Oh, yes. We got lots of videos. And if you have any questions, comments, or ideas about future videos that we should do here on Fabric Tech Talk, you know what to do. Post them in the comments below. If this is your first time visiting the Fabric YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you like my video and Reza's video, give it a big thumbs up. As always, from Microsoft, Reza, and this guy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Friday. Thank you everyone for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget, hit that like button.
If this is your first time visiting the Microsoft Fabric YouTube channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button.
Drop a comment below on what you'd like to see on future episodes of Fabric Tech Talk Fridays.
That's it for today. See you all next Friday for another deep dive into Microsoft Fabric.